Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Friday, January 31st. It is 6:25 right now. We got market opening up in about 5 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. Connection lost. It's got a few things here to update. Trader is disconnected, unfortunately. Let's see if that becomes an issue today. Sent out to you guys here in premium. People join in. I'm going to go ahead and start marking liquidity over here. That's the 1 minute. All right, looks like we are good to go. All right, guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Friday, January 31st. It is 6:28 right now. We got market opening up in about 2 minutes. Looks like the breakout for today is probably going to be a buy entry. We'll know about 20 seconds once this candle here closes. Looking over here at the market structure. All right, guys, breakout for today is going to be a buy if you guys are looking to take it. I'll mark it up again for you guys. I'm still not convinced that market is very consistent yet. ATR is extremely low right now, 10 ATR. But we'll still take it and we'll see, where it ends up going. Here is the market structure bias. You want price to be out of this area, of course. We'll see what happens shortly when market opens up, but we got market opening up here in about 20 seconds. Breakout for today is looking like a buy. We got liquidity sitting both directions right here. We got news at 5:30, I believe. So we had news at 5:30 and then news at 6:45. So high impact news happened right here at 5:30. There goes market open. Breakout is running in profit. Huge push right there on open. Put the 50-point mark right here. I know most of you guys are going for that 50-point 101, which is fine. So there goes the 50 points right there. 100 points will be up here. Got that liquidity right there, just got knocked out. It's opening price. So the news price here lines up with the New York high. See how price kind of bounced directly off it? We got liquidity sitting up here. It's waiting to get hit. We got liquidity on both sides right here. So I'm just waiting for the market here to kind of stabilize a little bit before obviously I start looking for some actual entries. You can see here there's a lot of inconsistency with the direction of price on open. I'm not in the breakout, guys, so there's nothing for me to take here, of course. I am following it though. Let's see, price pushed up about 30 points, pushed down about 50 points. Looks like the breakout for today wouldn't have played out. So this is what I was warning about, for this week. This week, the breakouts hit pretty much every day. So we've had pretty much a straight win streak for this week for the breakout. Today didn't play out, but for the previous days, it did play out pretty nicely. So it's just today where the breakout didn't play out as smoothly as it did earlier this week, but pretty much Monday through Thursday, breakout hit at least 50 points or the 100-point move. And yeah, like Jonathan said, his first L for the week. So it's all good. It's all part of the game. It's a game of probabilities here. So no big deal. So I'm just letting the market here kind of stabilize a little bit. Once the market is stabilized, then I'll start looking for some possible opportunities for entry. Barack, we have a sell signal here kind of pending. Only problem with that sell signal is we have some sessions down here. So we have the London high sitting down below this point. So even if we were to get that sell entry, we have to wait for, market here to stabilize a little bit first. But you guys can see over here, we got liquidity on both ends. Yeah, exactly. The 645 candle criteria. Just gotta wait for the market here to kind of stabilize a little bit. If the market stabilizes before, then great. Possibly look for something there. Otherwise, we'll just hang tight. I looked at the entries from yesterday, Barack. Everything after the live session pretty much hit. We took one trade during the live session. It was kind of a FOMO trade because I took it and it was at news price. And unfortunately, it ended up turning on us, so I lost that trade. First loss of the week with the scalps. But I looked at the trades after. Every single trade after hit, basically from 8 o'clock until market close. So it's got to be a little patient with the entries here. Yesterday, I was a little impatient. I took a FOMO trade if you guys were on the live session. We didn't take a trade the day before, and I just really wanted to take one trade yesterday. Unfortunately, it wasn't a good trade because it was at news. So it was at the red flag. It's all good, it's all part of the game. Like I said, you're not going to win every trade. As long as you can control your risk, it'll be perfectly fine. We're still up for the week, so not a big deal. It's going to take one trade today and we'll be good. So here is the clean chart. To mark up the clean zones here, or the clean price levels at least. So you can see price is pretty much ranging right now between these three zones. Not really too much going on here. Just a back and forth movement right here between these zones. Come back and take a look at this clean chart a little later. Let's take a look at the SR chart. So the SR chart is actually in the same area that it was yesterday. So we have a pretty inefficient market right now. And we've talked about this previous sessions. We want price to kind of be away from where it was the previous day. Right here, you can see price isn't. It's like literally at that spot. So got some SR zones right there. Much. So we got some SR zones right here. Price kind of just hanging out down the middle. Price is pretty much retracing, or it's ranging and retracing between this middle area right here. So with the SR zones, if you guys trade support resistance, these are support resistance zones. It's kind of just going between this area right here. It pushed up pretty high and then it came down, and then now it's kind of just ranging between this middle area right here. So this is the consolidation range zone. I'll just probably delete this, not really necessary right now. I'll update that later if it's necessary. Here's the clean chart. You guys can see it even better. It's pretty much ranging and consolidating between the 45,150 and 45,100. Not much going on here. Price is just going sideways. Going over here to our market structure bias, like I said before, guys, we're trying to trade outside of this area. So it's stuck within this area right now. And we are looking for this here to be outside of here, right? Stuck within this middle area. You want price to be outside, out here or down here. It doesn't matter which direction, but we want it to be outside of this box, because if it doesn't go outside of this box, this means that market is moving inefficiently. The reason why it's moving inefficiently is because this is where price was yesterday. So if you look at this here, this is yesterday's close. This is yesterday's close. This is yesterday's high. Yesterday's. And as you can see here, price hasn't really pushed away from it, right? Market closed around this area right here, and it's still within this area. So what we want to see here, ideally, is we want price to, and the closest area to get out of this box is going to be up, right? So we want price to push up and stay out of this area. If it stays out of this area, market will be moving efficiently. Because market is where it was yesterday, it's moving inefficiently because it's not really going anywhere, right? We don't have any buyers in control. We don't have any sellers in control. Price is just where it stuck was yesterday. And pretty much closed here, and now it's back to this area. So we will kind of wait for something here to happen. Obviously we want some sort of movement, some sort of direction. Here's the main chart. So the main chart with all the tools, you can see price here is just going sideways. Let me try to see who's in control of the market. Looks like the buyers are currently in control right now to some extent. The reason why I say that is because you can see here price is pushing up, and then we have a couple of things here indicating that the buyers are in control. We have a double body rejection right here. This is a reversal pattern. So we have a double body rejection right here. This indicates that price pushed down, reversed from this point, and is now pushing up. On top of that, we have an engulfing candle right here, right? This is another reversal pattern. On top of that, we have another engulfing pattern right here, which is another reversal pattern. So we have three reversal patterns to the upside. We have a double body rejection here. This is a V1 variation. We have an engulfing pattern. We have another engulfing pattern. So this is pointing towards the upside, right? We're pointing towards the upside, and we're looking for price to push up higher. If it doesn't push up higher, that's completely fine. I'm going to draw a consolidation range right here. It's not a big deal, right? I'm just going to draw that there, and then we will continue following it through. So price ends up consolidating. It's not like the end of the world. It's like, okay, price is just consolidating, so we'll just wait for price to get out of this area so we can start looking for entries. However, it looks like price is trying to push up. So you can see here at this point, Barack, this is one of your entries, but it's at opening price. So I don't know if this is one I would personally take. I think, like we just talked about, trying to stay away from these red flags. This is how I got caught up yesterday. So I don't know if this is something you would like to take. It's also before 6:45, so it's still kind of early. But it looks like the market is kind of stabilizing a little bit. So I'll mark this up right here. We'll follow it. I'm not going to take the trade, but we'll follow it. It's still kind of too early. Our criteria is to look for entries about past 6:45. Also, right here, we have too many red flags. We have opening price right here, and we also have the sessions, which is up here. So in order for us to hit our TP, we need to touch the sessions, right? Which is not a good thing. We don't want to be touching the sessions. You want to stay as far away from them as possible. And then right here as well, we're at opening price, which is also another red flag. And then we have high impact news over here at 6:45. There's just a lot of things happening right now at one time, guys. So this is why I'm kind of being a little more cautious, a little more careful with my entries, because I don't want to get caught in market manipulation, of course. We got news coming up right here at 6:45, the Chicago PMI. This is inflation news. This is a medium impact news event forecasted to be positive. So it can be beneficial for the position, but this doesn't necessarily mean price is going to go up. Just because it's forecasted to be positive doesn't mean price is going to actually go up. So I'm not in this position here. I just wanted to show you guys there's a setup there, but because of these red flags, this is why we avoid these specific entries, right? So you just got to be smart about your entries. You guys got to remember today's Friday as well. Something to keep in mind that might not be as obvious is that the market moves kind of unusual on Mondays and Fridays. On Mondays, people are entering the market from the weekend, so we have some increased volatility. On Friday, we have people exiting the market for the weekend, so we have increased volatility in that way too. So you just want to make sure that you're fully aware of like what's going on in the market, so that you don't get caught in fake outs. Because I think that's one of the biggest things with a lot of people is just getting caught in these fake outs. So you can see how price faked out right here, pulled back down. For you guys who are new here, I know there's some new people here in the group. Basically, these red flags that I'm referring to are these horizontal lines. So any of these lines that are dotted that go from left to right, not the blue ones. The blue ones are liquidity targets, but the red one right here, this dotted red one, this is the London high low. This blue dotted line right here is the market open. This green line right here is the New York high low. The pink line behind it is news price. Those are areas that you want to avoid. You can see that whenever price gets near these areas, price gets manipulated. So look how price over here reached this area, right? This blue line, manipulation, spiked up, came back down super hard. See how price reached this green line right here? Touched it, manipulated back down. See how price over here got to this blue line again? Touched it, broke it, closed, manipulated back down. So these are like one of the key things where we avoid trades at all costs, these dotted lines. The solid blue ones are okay, they're targets, but the dotted ones you definitely want to be careful for. Like up here, this purple line, this is the Asia high low. So I pretty much have marked up the previous session high lows. I've marked up the opening price and I've marked up news price. Those are things that you guys want to be careful for. I've seen too many people get burnt at those areas that, I created a whole tool just to avoid getting caught in those areas. But we do have some medium impact news right here at 6:45, Chicago PMI. We'll see what happens there and see how market reacts to it. But at this very moment, there's not very much, going on. Price is kind of just ranging back and forth. It's in a pretty big range right now. So price is the big range is between 45,200 and 45,100. The median area right here is the middle, right? 150. So this acts like a magnet. Price pushes up, comes back down, pushes back up, comes back down. And the area that's acting like a magnet is the middle point right here. It's the whole number, 45,150. So what we're looking for here is you want price to push above it and climb up higher, or push below it and climb down lower. Doesn't matter which direction, we'll trade either direction, but we want price to have some sort of direction at least. Here's the SR chart. Again, like I said earlier, I drew this up earlier. Same area where price is bouncing from. It's just returning to those areas. It's nothing new. Price is just going back and forth, back and forth. This consolidation started right here. It was a smaller consolidation zone, then it broke into a bigger consolidation zone. So pre-market right here, price stuck within this area, and the market opened up and it went into a bigger area, but still consolidating within the same big zone. So just be patient, guys. There's no need to force anything here. Back to the main chart, we have another V1 variation pattern right here. Sort of. Let's look at the time and sales. I'm looking at the time and sales right now. Let's see who's in control. It's pretty mixed right now. There's more sellers in the market, but it's pretty mixed. There's not like, it's not heavily on one side, and we don't have any huge orders coming in. Let me see right here on open, we had initial buy orders and then price came down super heavy. It reflects the price movement on the chart. We got a lot of big sell orders coming in, so they're far out sell orders. They're trying to push price down a little further, which is okay. Barack, this is a setup for you again right here, but there's news at 6:45, so I wouldn't mess with it. Let's see. Yeah, Barack, so your entry here is coming up again, but there's news like literally on the next candle. So I mean, personally, I wouldn't mess with it. We also have a red flag down here. We have the London high. Yeah, you don't have enough space here to take anything because you have to push at least 20 points. All right, we're just in one really big range right now. So let me go and just mark this up real quick. Just a huge range. So this looks like the range. This was a fake out area, of course. But this looks like the actual range here. And this looks like a fake out too. So this looks like the actual range. And these are outliers. Unless you want to move this up here, I think this looks more realistic. So we'll see if price fakes out. I mean, this might just be the case again. Price pushed up, faked out, pushed below, faked out, pull back into the range, right? I don't see like a huge difference here. So again, we're just gonna wait for price to push out of this area, guys. I want price, if price does push below, which I don't mind, I want price to break below this area and come down here. I'll start looking for entries down here. And then vice versa, I'll look for entries up here if price pushes above. If it pushes back up, I'll look for entries, around this area. We have a lot of these liquidity targets up here, so it doesn't really matter which direction price goes. I just want price to push away from these red flags, of course. All right, we're currently at the session right here. See where price is bouncing off of. We hit liquidity down here. I'm gonna clean this up. See where the manipulation is happening, guys? It happens at these horizontal lines. Again, the dotted red line right here, this is where you avoid trades. That's where the manipulation tends to happen. Price comes down, pushes up very sharply. Price got to this blue line right here, pushes down very sharply. Price got to this green line right here, rejected off it very sharply, came straight down. So you just want to keep this in mind, guys, when you guys are looking at these entries. There's specific areas that you want to kind of just be careful for. Hey, Brock, your setup came up right here, but it was right at the sessions again, another red flag. So sell signal. And there's also news right here too. So sell signal, retracement, confirmation, entry happened right here. So we had news right here at 6:45. I'm going to mark up news price. And then we also had the red flag down below. So another setup is just, it's just not a good area to be trading at. Let's see what else I got here. Looking at the time and sales, trying to see who's in control at the moment. A lot of sellers in the market for sure. We'll see price breaks past this area, which you guys can see where the manipulation is happening at right here. You see price has trouble getting past these lines. See price pushes back up right here. I see a lot of buyers starting to push back in. So we have the sellers in control right here. Mark this up as red. So we have the green line here, which indicated that the buyers were slightly in control right here. Then we have this red line right here indicating that the sellers were in control, right? Right here, you can see price came down. We had an engulfing candle right here. And then we have another engulfing right here, possibly. So we got double engulfings right here. So the sellers look like they're definitely back in control right here now as we speak. Let's take a look at the order flow. I mean, the delta is not very strong though. Doesn't really show the sellers are really in control. So this is a trick, well, not a trick, but this is it looks like a trap right here. So there's a big red candle that just passed right here, right? You got this big, fat red candle right here, right? But if you look at the orders here on the order flow, there's only 12, the delta was 12, it's actually positive delta. So this is very unusual, right? You have a huge red candle, but the buyers were in control here. or they tried to be in control. They pushed price back up, which I think is very, very unusual for the movement right there. So we'll see if it holds up. I mean, if it holds up, great. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. Look at the delta here. It's not very strong. So I don't know if the sellers they have enough to really keep this going. I'll come back and take a look at that shortly. See, this candle's going to close in about 4 seconds. Delta's at like 6. So yeah, not much there. We might have another engulfing right here though, guys. So another engulfing candle. This could be a possible scalp, just like a continuation scalp. Looking at the time and sales to see if the sellers are in control. The sellers do not look like they're in control right now, so probably not going to be a setup for us to be following. Yeah, and this candle does not look like it's going to be engulfing. I'm looking over here at the time and sales. There's way more buyers in the market. Let's take a look at the order flow. Delta is positive. I wouldn't take this. This would be very risky. Delta is not very negative right now. So we'll follow it. I'll follow this and I'll see if it comes down. And never mind, this came down to the last second. We'll follow it right here. I'll just see where it goes. So there goes the move that I was just talking about. I was looking for this engulfing to close. And it just, it came down to the last second. Like this candle here, it barely was engulfing. Wasn't a strong one. So it's a tricky market today, guys. Very, very tricky today. I'm looking at here because I'm trying to see confluences, right? Like this candle over here closed red. Like basically all these 3 candles over here were red candles. The delta right here was 23, 3, and 12. It was positive delta, which is very unusual because if the candles are red, the seller should be in control, but it shows that the sellers weren't in control here. You look at the point of control right here. Point of control is actually from the bottom end. So that's where I find it to be very unusual. I mean, it looks like the trade would have hit stuff though. So like the trade was right here. It would have hit, but it's not one of those risky trades that I'm willing to jump into. So just be patient and wait for an actual good setup. But I'm just giving you guys my analysis here because I'm following market structure and I'm following these reversal patterns to show you if like there's more entries or more opportunities for entries here. Barack said red flags have been a major obstacle and a good one for us though. Yeah, exactly. It keeps us away from these bad entries or like these riskier entries. The order flow is kind of unusual though, because I'm looking at the order flow and it's like, I mean, the delta here was negative. So it shows like the sellers are starting to finally push price down. But you look at the point of control. So the sellers were in control here, then the buyers were in control, and then it was neutral, and then neutral. And then right here, I don't know, we'll see what happens on this candle. If this pushes up higher and the point of control is below, then the buyers might be back in control. But the thing is, the delta doesn't add up like where I'm expecting it to, because the sellers are still pushing down. But I mean, who knows, right? Delta there was negative 34. The volume was right below right here, though. If you guys are not familiar with order flow, I mean, it's not something that's necessary. I just use this as a confluence to kind of see things. There's a couple things that I like to look at. I like to look at the delta because it shows the cumulative delta of like who's in control. If it's negative, that means there's more sellers that are kind of pushing price. If it's green, then there's more buyers that are pushing price. I also look at the point of control. This like black highlighted area. This kind of shows you where the most volume comes from. So if you see a lot of volume from the top side, it's like, okay, the sellers are pushing price down. See a lot of volume from the bottom side, buyers are pushing price up. Right here, you can see the buyers are still pretty strong. Like the point of control is right here. So it's just kind of tricky. It's like a lot of the confluences here aren't really lining up as they should. Because I mean, the buyers are fighting for price, but it's not really getting pushed up that high. We have obviously there's more sellers here, but the documented sellers, it's like they're not pushing price far enough or strong enough. Like again, right here, see how the point of control is below? It's because a lot of buyers are trying to push price up. We'll see. I mean, I'm not going to force anything here. There's no entries for us right now anyway, so I'm just going to be watching it. I need to see a retracement happen first before we can start looking for anything else. But the sellers are in control. So let's just kind of point out how do I know the sellers are in control right now? So there's a plethora of things that I'm looking at. There's a bunch of sell orders on the time and sales. You can't see it on my screen right now, but I'm looking at the time and sales on my laptop. It's showing live orders that are being executed and filled. So a bunch of sell orders here just kind of flooding in the market. I see about 20 orders, 10 orders, 15 orders. They're smaller orders, but they're coming in bunches. So I do see a lot of sell orders coming in. Looking over here at the candlesticks, just looking at basic price action, I can see the sellers are in control here because I put a red line here, and then from this red line, you can see how price came down, right? There's a couple price action patterns here indicating that the sellers are in control. There's an engulfing candle right here, ate that one. There's an engulfing candle right here, ate that one. Engulfing candle right here. And possibly another engulfing candle that was like almost going to close here. But you can see there's three engulfing candles here. These are three reversal patterns. So price came down, retraced up, said nope, came back down. Came retraced right here a little bit, came down, said nope, push price down further. Same thing happened right here. So I have the sellers in control from up here. This is where the sell started to happen. And then you can see over here, this is where the sellers, they maintain control. So like price tried to push up and they were like, nah, push price down. Price came up right here, like, nah, push price back down. And they kept doing the same thing and same over and over again until price got down to where it's currently at. So I'm using multiple confluences. I'm using, basic candlestick price action to identify the continuations and the reversals. I'm also looking at the time and sales to identify, what buy orders and what sell orders are actually coming in. I can see about 10 sell orders kind of flooding in right now. They're coming in bunches, but they're not like, it's not like Monday or Tuesday where like we had these fat orders come in, right? There's someone who's trading on Monday and Tuesday who are executing like 80 contracts, 100 contracts, etc. A lot of times throughout the day. It's not happening today. These are like smaller orders that are getting kind of just pushed in. I think what was happening on Monday and Tuesday is we had some sort of big seller. It was like not a whale, but he was a big trader who was putting in these fat contracts. I don't think it was a market maker institution because typically they like to like put in these bunches, right?
Connection lost.
And I keep getting these connection loss on my Ninja Trader. I'm not sure if anybody else is getting that. I've had 2 connection loss today. Kind of makes me a little worried about taking the entries. Kind of same situation that happened earlier this week. So kind of unusual market to analyze here. So, I mean, we'll see. If I see a good entry, I'll take it, even though I'm getting these connection loss. But I just don't see any good entries right now. We have a pending buy signal on this specific candle, waiting for this buy signal here to possibly close. Once it closes, I'll be looking to take this here or I'll be looking to analyze it for a continuation. So basically, buy signal for retracement, continuation back down. If I get some consolidation here, I'll mark up some zones, but at this very moment, there's no consolidation, so leave it as is for now. Looks like price might start to consolidate right here, though. The ATR is pretty low. It's currently at 19 ATR. It's not that low, but I mean, it's lower than usual. Typically right now, it's like usually around like 25, 30. Right now, it's at 19 ATR. If it goes below 15, it's going to be very low. If it's at 15, you're probably going to see very small candles. Right now, these are pretty small, but they're not micro. Probably like 20 points each, almost. All right, looking at the order flow, you can see the numbers here are very small. The 2 digits. There's a 0 delta right here, actually. Rarely see this 0 delta. Even buyers and even sellers on this candle. All right, looks like the sellers are trying to get back in control over here. They've been in control though. So the thing with this here, guys, is that the buyers never push back. So the sellers have been in control for a while. We'll see what happens here with the consolidation. Or breaks up or breaks below. Yeah, CJ said mine connection lost right before yours, and Patricia said yes, happened to me 30 seconds before you lost connection. Seems like there's just an issue with the connections lately. I mean, I don't know. It's I've only seen it, I've only heard it and seen it happen this week. Thankfully, it's like not a common issue. So if it happens again, I'll let you guys know. But yeah, it seems like a couple of people here are having issues with connections. Rock said big move is loading. Yeah, I agree. Rock said retracement to delta zero may prompt for a continuation or reversal. Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Brock. So I'm just watching this here as it kind of moves around. If anything, I'll move well, the consolidation is breaking below, so might be it for that. So if you guys look over here, when the consolidation happens, we have a break below. So this just shows that the sellers are in control. So they took control up here. And then again, right here, we had some consolidation, but it broke below again. So the sellers are still in control until we see a reversal pattern the other way. Obviously sellers are still going to be king right now. Take off this liquidity. Price is currently at the Asia low right now. So it's currently at the red flag. Let's see if this is time for it to swing back up. Let's see, visual said 45,091 is a bottom of the 2-minute range, and we're below it, so more downside. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, it looks like price bounced off here visual, so we'll see what happens here. I mean, like I said before, guys, these red flags they're really key. You have to pay attention to them and don't ignore them because they're key areas of price to be manipulated and bounce off of. Let's go over here to the market structure bias. So looking at the market structure bias, guys, it's currently at yesterday's close. So this black line right here is yesterday's close. This is where market closed on Thursday afternoon. So about basically once before Asia opened. This is where the turnover happened. We don't really want to trade down here. This indicates that market is very inefficient because if price is back to where it was yesterday, like this just shows that price hasn't gone anywhere, right? You had some noise where price kind of bounced around and then it pulled right back to yesterday's close. So if I zoom out a little bit, so you guys can see the market closed right here yesterday, or where did it close at? So it closed Thursday. Yeah. So right here is where market closed yesterday. See how like nothing is really happening? I mean, price pushed away and then it pulled right back to what it was. So it's like nothing really happened. Price went this way, pushed up right here, faked out, pulled back down, and now it's back to where it was. So you don't really want to trade in an area like this because this is where market's inefficient. You want price to be away from here. You can probably catch little scalps in between, but like it's hard to have some sort of bias because market structure is exactly where it was yesterday at close. And there's just no volatility here as well. Okay, so looking at this right here, looks like we might have another double body. If this candle closes red, then there would be another double body rejection here. So that's another continuation to the downside. Otherwise, this looks like the I just want to clean up that range a little bit. See if it breaks above. Let's see, Rashida said NQ and YM finally moving opposite way. We may be back to normal conditions. Yeah, possibly. I mean, it started to look like it this week because like things were kind of moving, smoothly. Like this whole week, the breakouts pretty much hit. Monday through Thursday, breakout hit every day. Today's the first day the breakout didn't hit. And that was like a breath of relief because like we haven't seen the breakout really be consistent. It's like you have a couple wins, you have a couple losses, but at the end of the week, it ended up like around break even. So it's been kind of annoying. or what happens is like we eat the losses and then the winners we skip because we're following the risk off plan. And then it just becomes an endless cycle. So yeah, I'm hoping it continues to move consistently. It's just this week was good until today and yesterday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday was like very directional. And then yesterday and today we've had a lot of this consolidation. So price is pretty much consolidating within this area right here, guys. Not much is happening here at all. I'm gonna do these zones here so that you guys can see. Let's see. So Sam said you call that a V1 downward. Let's see. It's kind of tough. I mean, if this candle was like a clear red candle, Sam, then I would have called it a V1, but because it's like a doji or whatever this is, I mean, I guess it's called a doji because it's like just body. Um, it's like hard to tell. So if I was to take a guess, yeah, I would say that this would be a downwards, but um, because the price action here isn't very clean, I can't necessarily say. But I mean, we had a lot of downwards movement here, downwards confirmations, right? We had the engulfing, engulfing, engulfing. But then once these engulfings were done with, the market went into a straight sideways consolidation right here. It's kind of crazy to see this type of consolidation because like this has kind of been happening like a lot more recently, where the consolidation is like super, super tight. It's like literally squeezing. We're used to seeing like a range, right? Price kind of going back and forth between like a bigger area. But this consolidation right here is like, I mean, it's like barely moving at all. And it's not even fast. It's not like algos are trading. Like you don't see an algo trading where it's like boom, 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 right? You see right here where it's like slowly moving back and forth. And I'll just keep extending this until we kind of get out of this area. This over here is obviously a fake out. See how big this range is. This range is really, it's really tight. It's basically a 15-point range. ATR is 19. All right, so got nothing going on here. Here's a clean chart. So it looks like it now if we do it, so I'm doing analysis on different types of charts here, right? We have the main chart, of course, where the tools are set. Here's a clean chart. These are just whole numbers. So looking at this here, it looks like price is kind of just sitting right here at the 45,050 mark. Not much happening here either. It's just price is sitting right there and it just keeps going sideways. Looking over here at the SR chart, same thing. Price is just sitting at this support level. So you can see how the analysis here, doesn't matter what your analysis is. It kind of just lines up with each other. This is the support resistance chart. This is the clean chart. It's just, whole numbers. Here's our main chart. Price is consolidating as well. We don't see a support level here, but we just see that consolidation range. I guess the support level here could be the sessions. It's kind of where the support's at. It's the Asia low right here. It's purple line. And then looking over here at the market structure, so we're kind of getting like opposite direction. So over here at the market structure bias, the yesterday's close is actually acting like a resistance. So it's acting like a resistance right there. Price is having trouble getting past it. Well, on the SR chart, we have the support right here. And on the clean chart, we also have the support right here at the 45,050. And then for our main chart, we just have the range. So looks like price finally broke out of the range right there. I mean, we'll see if it holds. It's gonna be hard to tell here. I mean, you don't want to trade in this type of market anyways. So I would wait for price to kind of push out of this area and then maybe climb up a little bit higher. This is how I got screwed yesterday, Brock. I know you were on the live session, you got off early, but I got screwed because I was trading in a range like this and I got a little too overly excited when price kind of came out of the range. I entered right there, like very quickly, and then it ended up coming down. But it was like this same scenario, but we had news right here. So like I had to touch news, and what happened is price touched news and it reversed the other way. So it was like a bad trade because there was a red flag there. Nice. So Sam actually closed out of his trade. Yeah, good thing you closed out earlier, Sam, because there just wasn't a confirmation of a price to push. Looking at this here now, guys, we might have possible opportunity for a push to the upside. I don't see any reversal patterns to the upside, but it looks like price might be pushing up from right here. I'll draw a green line. This is where the buyers are starting to get back in control. The only thing that I need to look for here next is I need to look for a confirmation. So price started pushing up right here. I'm going to be looking for either V1 variation patterns, double body, double wick, engulfing patterns, anything to show me that price has confirmed the push to the upside. We see price pushing up here, but there's no price action indicating that, okay, the buyers are actually in control. Looking over at the time and sales, there's a lot of sell orders coming in. I saw about, okay, there's like 20 orders that came in. 110 contract, 1-3, bunch of one orders that are starting to cluster in. So the sellers are trying to push price back down. We got some deep sell orders right here. Got about 5 deep sell orders. The buyers are trying to fight back right here. So I'm getting some more buy orders. They're not a lot, but a decent amount of buy orders that are starting to come back in. It's pretty mixed right now. So I'm looking at the time and sales. There's no big orders for either direction. Just clusters kind of coming in. Yeah, the clusters of cells right now. You can see where it's bouncing off of too. See the red line right here, guys? It's the area of rejection again, of course. And there it goes, price comes back down. So again, red flag. This is why we avoid red flags. Because see how manipulation happens right there? We'll see if price pulls back into the range. Let's extend this out a little bit. Yeah, Brock said ranging markets kind of mess up the edge by far. Yeah. I think the range is probably worse than, these red flags in some instances because there's just no direction. Nice. So Sam caught the bounce. Sam's catching bounces off the sessions right here, it looks like, which are good. I mean, it's doing exactly what we anticipated, right, Sam? So I mentioned, whenever price gets near these areas, a bounce is probably going to happen, especially when you get those big wicks off it. All right, so I'm just extending that upper range right there. It's basically a break and retest of that area. Price consolidated, broke above, retest, possible continuation to the upside. We still don't have any confirmation here of the buyers that are back in control. So we have a push to the upside here, but we don't have any price action indicating that, the buyers are really in control. We have a possible engulfing candle here. So this looks like an engulfing candle, this green one. It's just not very strong. The body does eat this one, but it's not really strong enough to identify as a, what I would consider a strong engulfing. All right, Brock, we might have push back down right here into the range. Or not. Such a messy range today. I'm looking at the consolidation. So like right here, we had the range. Price was a big range right here, broke below, came down a little bit, and then went into this like heavier range down here, of course. Heavier range and smaller too. So it's heavier and it's tighter. Nice. Sam said, yeah, I had a pending order ready. He gave 35 points with a 10-point stop loss. Solid. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty key. I mean, if you're looking at that first retest of the area, like the sessions, you can have it for a pretty tight stop loss. I had a strategy for this actually. It was called sessions high low. So I have a strategy that I used in the past. You can have a pretty tight stop loss like that right there, pretty solid. Basically, if you had a bearish trend, like for example, there's a bearish trend here right now, right? So price comes below it and it comes back up and it tests the session high low. That same pattern just kind of repeats itself, right? It's below it, retest, come back lower. Because the overall trend here is bearish, so it I mean, it's tricky. It's a tricky way to trade. You can trade them either way, like either bounce. Like even down here, there's another way to identify it. The other way I was identifying it was if price was overextended. So for example, I measure from up here, measure down here. If it's like 150 points, I'm like, all right, if price reaches this point down here, it's going to have to bounce, right? So price came from up here. Over here, it's like 160 points. I'm like, all right, this for sure is going to bounce at the sessions. And that's what happened. So there's a lot of different ways to apply this. Like I said, there's no one way to trade, guys. I have a ton of strategies. Like if you guys like to trade those types of strategies where you catch reversals at specific price points, like I can show you those strategies. I personally don't like trading them myself. Because sometimes price doesn't necessarily bounce, right? Sometimes it will just break through it like it did here. So I like to be actively analyzing to see if my setups are coming up or if the price action is showing that price is going a certain direction versus just having a pending order just waiting there. All right, so the buyers are still in control here, or they're trying to be in control. The problem with this here is we still don't have any patterns here indicating that the buyers are actually in control. So I've marked up the buyers that were in control over here. And it's pushed up, but there's no confirmation. I see no engulfing. I see no V1 variations. It looks like we might be back in consolidation right here. So it looks like, I mean, it was in a range right here, consolidation, and it broke above, and then now it's in another range. It's just like this lower level here is just overextending out a little more. Here's the SR chart, so you guys can see here from the support resistance, there's not much going on. Price is still within this range that it's been in from earlier this morning. Nothing there. Here is the clean chart. Same with this, nothing much going on here either. Here's our main chart. Price is coming back to retest this lower range. So we have the big range, and then we have basically two smaller ranges between this area. I don't see any reversal patterns here back to the downside yet, so I'm not going to say the sellers are back in control or they're trying to be back in control. If they are, I'm going to start it from here, of course. But I would need to see some sort of reversal pattern, right? V1 variation, double body, double wick, engulfing, something that just to give me the price action confirmation that price has reversed back in this direction. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of noise right now. So just be patient, guys. Like I said, there's no need to force anything here. Just play it candle by candle. If I don't see anything here, then obviously I'm not going to force any entries. But if we do see something, then great. Otherwise, just back to back to the waiting game. 7:20 right now, so we got like about 40 minutes till 8. Sam said he missed the triple confluence yet. 1509. Yeah, this one right here. It was a really tight move though. So like the triple confluence, you have to get in and out like with maybe 10 points because the session is right there. I think it's that same place where you're looking for the push. All right, so we have a double body rejection here closing, guys. If this is the case, then we might have the buyers back in control again. I mean, there's no really one side that's in control, but the buyers are trying to get back into control. So this might be the point where price pushes back up. This is a double body rejection right here. V1 variation, double body, double wick rejection. If this candle pushes past it, it's going to invalidate it. And it did. So the buyers actually did not take control there. Sellers are still trying to push price down. So this here is actually a reversal pattern to the other side. So we had a double body rejection here. This is another double body rejection. And it's also engulfing. So this right here is actually a better setup. As long as this candle closes down a little stronger. Glenn's asking, is the 717 candle an entry for Barak Strat? Yeah, so technically this would have been it right here. Hey, Brock. No, I did not take the entry. The entry, this was an entry, but I didn't take it. I wasn't looking at it at the time. So this was an entry for the MPS V2. I didn't want to take it because price was consolidating. Like I said, this is why I got caught yesterday because I was trading where price was consolidating. The only problem with my trade yesterday is that I was trading at news, but the entry did hit right here. So yeah, thanks, Glenn, for mentioning it. We had a sell signal here, price retraced up. This candle right here pushed down. It closed below the momentum right here, and that was an entry for momentum pullback scalp V2. I wasn't even looking for it, but yeah, that was an entry right there. It actually played out pretty nicely. All right, so man, this range is like it's throwing me off because I don't want to take any trades in the range. But the entry did come up right there, so pretty solid. Yeah, Barack said awesome. I hate trading on the phone. A call disrupts everything and you have to rejoin Zoom, but it's okay. Yeah, so Brock trading on his phone today, unfortunately. He missed that same opportunity, but the trade did come up pretty smoothly and it went right through. This was actually a really good entry because there was no red flags in this area. Yeah, Santa said, please pass my regards to Barack for working on the strategy. I'm not taking it, but I see it win every day. Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, Brock really came up with something here because the thing is, we already had a very similar strategy. We had the momentum pullback scalp. The only difference here is that Brock's entry actually gets in at more ideal entry points. So, I mean, the MPS is still good. If you took the MPS right here, so price kind of pushed down, retraced right here, entry would have happened at the 60. It still wouldn't have filled actually. Like Brock's entry is like, it's like a good hybrid. It's a good hybrid because like sometimes you'll have like entries that come a little too late and entries that come a little too early, but Brock's comes like just on time. It's like right in between. The MPS is good, but it comes a little late sometimes because you're waiting for the retracement. So I think the MPS comes a little too early, actually. MPS comes too early, and then the market flow V2, they all fall within the same family. So like these strategies right here, and I'll put them in order. So momentum, pullback, scalp, that's first. Momentum, pullback, scalp, V2, and then market flow. These are like the order that they come in from. It's like the MPS will usually come up first. And sometimes you get caught in this position because you get in like before there's any confirmation, it ends up reversing on you. And then the other one, market flow V2, this entry comes up too, but the problem with this here is you get in too late. So what happens is by the time you get to market flow V2, then the trade's probably reversing on you at that point. So the good thing with Barack's entries, it's a hybrid, it's in between. So when you do see something like that, like his entry come up, it's like you're not too early, you're not too late, you're kind of just where you should be, versus getting in like as soon as price retraces up. Because like what would happen sometimes is price just retraces real quick, you get in, and then you just get in too early and it pushes up too hard. Or if you get in for it, so here's a market flow V2. Let me see if there's one here. Sell signal came up, price came down, retraced right here. Yeah, because if you would have gotten in right here, the entry would have happened at the 60. So see, if you took a market flow V2 right here at the 60, you'd be like way too late. At that point, the trade pretty much, it's just reversing at this point now. I mean, the trade would still be running, but you'd be holding on to this until it maybe came back and filled your order and came back and hit your TP. But in a sense like that, it's just a little too late. Yeah, exactly. Brock said, yeah, they're all complementing each other. Yeah, that's exactly what they are. They're the same exact strategies. They're based off the momentum. You're looking for retracement and confirmation. The good thing with yours, Brock, is that you're actually looking for confirmation back down. So for the MPS, you're looking for this, right? You're looking for price to come down, retrace, then you take the entry. And this sucks because, well, it doesn't suck, but this becomes an issue because what happens sometimes is price doesn't actually come back down. It just ends up going straight back up. So that's like an NPS and a market flow V2. The good thing with your entry is that your entry does this. You get in on the continuation to the downside. So that's why I say it's a hybrid. So, all right, looks like we're back in this range from earlier, guys. The buyers look like they might be back in control here. There's no confirmation that they are actually in control, but they are pushing price up. So you can see the buyers are pushing price up right here. We don't have confirmation of like a V1 pattern or engulfing candle or anything like that, but price is pushing up a little higher from where we are currently. So buyers try to push price up right here, had no luck. Sellers try to push price right here, had no luck. Buyers are trying to push price back up right here. Let's see if they have some luck here. So what I'm looking for at this point is I'm looking for the buyers to actually push through. I'm looking for some sort of confirmation. Like I'm looking for maybe a red candle right there and then a strong green candle. That's going to indicate that we have an engulfing pattern there, right? For me personally, I actually would want this to push up a little higher before we get that retracement. So for this right here, I want this to push through, get past the news price, retrace maybe somewhere around here, and then provide opportunity for entry up here. So we can get away from these red flags, right, Brock? I think that's what we want. We want price to be away from the red flags, let this push up a little higher, retrace around this area, and then give us opportunity for entry up here. So that we don't have to worry about news price or the sessions right here. Yeah, definitely. Brock said, grateful for Sean afforded to check it out too and access to the indicators to try it out. Yeah, no, definitely. 100% Brock. I mean, that's like, that's the key thing. It's like, I mean, with you as well, you've been part of the group for a long time now, I think from the beginning, right, Brock? I think I've known you for like how many years now? Maybe 6 years? 5, 6 years now you've been with the group. So like the thing is like you continue to grow with the group and I know you started to do like your own thing and you kind of like tried to learn some other strategies and stuff like that. But the thing is like you always came back. And when you came back, you brought that knowledge and then it helped you get even better. Because now you're able to use, you know, your analysis in a lot of different ways. Let's see, CJ said, what video can I go back and watch to study Barack's strategy? I'm going to do some back testing over the weekend. So you can go back to, I would say like pretty much every live session, like basically the past, every live session this week, CJ, and then probably last Friday. I think you'll probably see like we looked for those entries pretty much every day this week and last Friday. The strategy is very simple though, CJ. So like basically what you're looking for is you're looking for a momentum signal. The trend doesn't matter. So don't care about the trend as much, but you're looking for a momentum signal. Then you're looking for a retracement and then you're looking for a confirmation. So like basically like this right here, let me show you, and I'll just kind of break it down for you. There's a sell signal here. See how price pushed up and it retraced? So you're just looking for a sell signal, you're looking for some sort of retracement, and you're looking for candle to close back below the momentum. So sell momentum, retracement, this candle right here closed below this black line, right? Because that's where the momentum's at, the body, and that's where the entry would have happened. As soon as this candle closed, you would have entered the sell, and it would have came down in that direction. So it's a pretty simple, straightforward strategy. You just need the momentum indicator, of course. That's like the main catalyst. If you look back at yesterday's session after 8 o'clock, you'll see that there was a lot of entries that came up and they all hit. It was actually a really good day yesterday for post live session. So I think that's one good one to take a look at. So guys, looking at current price right now, We still haven't gotten past the sessions. Like I said earlier, I need price to kind of push away from here. And I'm okay to look for entries up here. I don't really want to trade down here because we have these red flags. I want to trade up here. Sam said buy mode truly on only if something good. Yeah, I'm looking over here at the time and sales. I just don't really see like the buyers really in control at the moment. I mean, they're trying to push price up. They're giving a strong push, but they're just not. They're not in control. So let's see. Let's see. Rashida said V3 almost hit for 25. Volume is low though, still running. Yeah, so there's a breakout V3 continuation that happened right here. Looks like it just hit right there. Yeah, so nice work right there, Rashida, for catching that. She caught this breakout V3 continuation right there. The volume is low, so you can see the ATR is currently 17, so it's pretty low right now. This is a possible entry for you right here, Brock. The only problem is that it's at news. I don't want to trade at news. This is where I got burnt yesterday. I'll follow it. I'm not going to take it. So here's a setup for Brock's entry. It's at a red flag news, so I'm not going to take it, but I will follow it here. We had a buy signal, push price up, retracement, confirmation right here on this green candle. But this is where I took a loss yesterday, so I'm not going to take it today. Oh, not in this position. I'm just kind of following it right here. It's in between this red flag, so not exactly where I want to be looking to take any entries at this moment. CJ said it reminds me of the high-low quick scalp too. Love that it complements what we're already doing. Yeah, exactly, CJ. The high-low quick scalp is like very similar to it's very similar to the micro scalp as well. I mean, they all kind of complement each other, right? They're very similar in a sense. Micro scalp, and then this too. One thing with the micro scalp is that I think it works well too in the same pattern. So, like for example, here we have that retracement, and then when the retracement happens, this is where your micro scalp would happen, like right there as it pushes back up. Again, guys, I'm not in this position. I just wanted to mark it up for you guys. It's in the red flag area, same red flag that we had yesterday where I took my loss. So I'm not taking any trades around red flags. But this is a setup. So I just want to show you guys an example of a setup for, Brock's strategy, of course, the NPS V2. Let's see, Christian said question, have gotten the message on NinjaTrader that says buy to cover and you have a trailing stop, it doesn't move to that number. I'm not sure what your question is, Christian. If you can rephrase it, I'm not sure what you mean. If you can screenshot the message and we can take a look at it, but I'm not sure. What you're asking. NinjaTrader that says buy to cover and you have a trailing stop and it doesn't move to that number. Yeah, if you get that error, just take a screenshot of it and I can kind of help you troubleshoot on that, Christian. I'm just not sure what you're asking. All right, so this here is still kind of pushing around. The volume is very low. ATR is actually at 15 now, so it's pretty low at the moment. ATR is at 15, so it's gonna be tough to get this up there. Looking at the time and sales, let's take a look at the order flow. The order flow is not really showing that the buyers are, let's see. I'm gonna try to go back to like where it started pushing up. So it started pushing up from right here. Looking at the point of control, the buyers were in control here, sellers, 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 neutral, sellers, 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 buyers, sellers, neutral, buyers, or no, sellers, buyers, and it's more buyers right here. So the point of control is still down here. There's a lot of volume on the bottom side. So, I mean, we'll see if the price gets pushed back up, but it's not really looking like it's having much luck here. Yeah, it's not looking super hot. I'm gonna take this off. I don't want you guys to think I'm in the position, but again, this is another reason why I don't trade at the red flags, right? The point of control is right here though. So I'm looking at this black highlighted box. It shows you that this is where the most of the volume is sitting. So the point of control is right here. It shows that the sellers are slightly in control at the moment at this point. The buyers are pushing price up. So there's like 33 orders right here. Okay, so the buyers are still in control. It looks like buyers are trying to push price back up from where it's currently at. I'm just looking at these numbers right here. I look at the point of control and I see who's in control right now. Sellers were in control, buyers were in control, sellers, buyers, buyers. Right here, I guess this candle will maybe be a deciding factor if like, if it'll be the buyers or the sellers. We'll come back and take a look at that later. It's just, I mean, it wouldn't really matter because this whole area is a red flag anyways. So I wouldn't be looking to take any trades here to begin with. Here's the thing, we might be able to take a sell here now because the sellers are pushing price back down. We actually never had a confirmation of the buyers really taking control here. The sellers might be pushing price back down here. There's an engulfing. So we have a better confluence here. We have the sellers trying to push price down. We have an engulfing candle right here. We would need a sell signal for price to push down further. So Brock here, I might just start looking for I might look for a sell here if we get a setup. We have an engulfing right here. Price starting to turn. Need this to hold though. I need this to hold and I need it to push down further. I need that sell signal there to close. If that sell signal closes, we can possibly look for your entry here, Brock. So we'll see what happens. Christian said, like trailing stop doesn't move and you get that message. Showed me that message when I got the ching. Oh yeah, so what happens sometimes, Christian, when that happens is that the volatility is either too low or too high. So what happens is like, say for example, you have your trailing stop that moves up right here, right? Say your trailing stop has to move up right here, but the price doesn't move, it just stays right there. So what happens is you can't put a stop loss where price is currently at. That's why you get the error. So that's why you got that error there. I get that error sometimes too. That's why I have it set to frequency at 1, because if I get that error, if it pushes down 1 more, it'll move it again. So it'll reactivate the trailing stop. So that's a common issue, Christian. It only happens when, it doesn't happen a lot, but it's a common issue where if the volatility is either too high or too low, because the thing is you can't move your stop loss where price is at exactly. Because if you do that, then there's gonna be an error, of course, right? And that's what's happening when your trailing stop moves. That's why I have it set the frequency at 1, because in case that happens, it'll move on the next candle, as long as it moves down 1 more point. All right, so let's see. The sell signal here looks like it is currently pending. We have a lot of buy orders in the market right now, trying to push price back up. Let me take a look at the order flow. Sellers are in control. Buyers are in control on the specific candle. So sellers, sellers, buyers, buyers. We got the sell signal here. I'm gonna try to take a look and see sellers are at. A lot of sellers right here. It looks like the buyers are getting trapped. So the buyers got trapped from up here actually, because the buyers try to push price up right here. There's 11, the volume. It's looking at the point of control. The buyers are trying to push price up. The sellers are like, no, push price down further. The buyers try to regain control right here. So it kind of depends on like how this candle here closes. I'm looking at the point of control. The sellers are still in control right there. So it kind of depends if like the buyers are going to get trapped around this area. There's a lot of sellers right here, 42 sellers, 6 buyers at point of control. These candles are like not really moving though. So see this. Maria's asking, how do you get that screen with the buyers and sellers? This is the order flow footprint. You need to have, I think, the premium account to have this. You need to have one of the higher accounts to have this tool here. It's so if you go to candles, like normally it'd be candles, you go to volume footprint if you have this option, and it'll show you the order flow. I don't like looking at order flow as active orders. I like looking at the order flow as it closes. It's more of a lagging tool because you want to see like who's in control after. Like for example, here there's more sellers, there's more sellers, there's more buyers, more sellers here. So you can see the buyers are getting trapped because they're trying to push price up, but there's a lot of sellers here that are controlling price. So, I'm kind of just watching here. There might be an entry here, Brock, if this here ends up closing below. So I'll be watching this. Look at the time and sales. The sellers are pushing price down a little bit. It's a little mixed with regard to who's in control, but this here closes below. This might be entry for a sell. About 20 seconds left. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's invalid. Nick, it could be invalid. You just want price to close below that line. That's the main thing. All right, we got 13 seconds here. Now closing in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Order submit.
So let me see what the TP is at. 45.
Order submitted.
That's you see the time and sales. It's a lot of buyers trying to push price back up, but let's see here if they push back down further. Take a look at the order flow. So looking at this here, the sellers are still pushing price down. There's 34 sellers, 20 controls above, 23. I mean, looking at everything here from the data, it looks like the sellers should be pushing price down, but it's a little tricky. Like I said, the volume here is just a little too low. So I'm looking at the volume here. Yeah, the ATR is at 16, so it's going to be a tough. Push right there. So I'm looking over here. This actually looks like a really good entry. So we have an engulfing right here too. We have an engulfing right here. The sellers are in control, engulfing on that actual entry candle. And then this again right here, another engulfing. Engulfing and a V1 pattern right there. Just kind of looking at the time and sales right now to see if there's I mean, it's pretty mixed. The clusters are coming in both ways. I just realized that my entry kind of sucked right here. It wasn't the greatest. Of course, some slippage, but it's okay. So this candle here, if it closes below, it's going to be another engulfing, which is another good confirmation. So we got double engulf. We got 3 engulfing right here. Engulfing. I mean, everything here is pointing toward a sell. Price is pushing down to our TP. I'm going to move my stop loss and profit. All right, I'm out.
Order filled.
What's good? We're out. Okay, full TP right there. Didn't want to fight it. I was like, nah. I was gonna move it down lower. So I was gonna move my TP a little lower because I got like kind of crappy entry. You guys saw my entry was like down here. So I was like, okay, maybe I should go for a little more, but I'm like, today's not the day to get greedy. Don't be the Grinch today. Don't get greedy. So I was like, no, I'm just gonna take out where I should have gotten out and of course, pull out of that position. So there we go, guys. Full TP on that move. Very nice move right there. You guys can see how my confluence is lined up perfect, right? Didn't really panic on this trade because I already had the confluences in place. I was like, I knew the engulfing was coming here. I was like, engulfing. Nothing to worry about. Then I had the order flow over here. I was like, the sellers are in control. Look at this. 58 sellers, one buyer. Come on, bro. They got to come down, right? 13 sellers, four buyers, 34 sellers, 20 buyers, 23 sellers, seven buyers. Like, all right, we know the sellers here are in control. So I use like different confluences here, of course, guys. As you guys know, and as you guys can see, like I'm fully well-rounded when I come down to analyzing these entries. I'm not just getting into like random entries here. I'm like making sure that this trade for sure it should hit. But it just comes with experience, guys. I mean, like a lot of you guys want to learn what I'm doing here, and it's like, yeah, you can learn the strategy. I can show you the blueprint, but like the whole thought process behind this, like for example, I could show you the strategy, and yeah, of course it would work. But in order for you to understand, like how can you be confident with the position is like really understanding, okay, there's like we know the seller's in control. We know there's confirmation here of continuation, continuation, continuation. And then on top of that, I even look at order flow here. Like this isn't necessary. You don't have to look at order flow, but it helps because like, if you get nervous and you get scared, like for example, right here, this was kind of a tricky position because I was like, why is price pushing up when the sellers are in control? There's more sellers here. Like, why is price going up? Um, and then, obviously I looked over here and I was like, okay, it was just happening at that specific price point. But then now the sellers continue to regain control and then it went straight to our TP. So it's always going to be a back and forth game. Some stuff like this is tough when the volatility is low because it can really go in either direction. But for the most part, I'm glad this here played through. So closing out this week with some pretty nice profit overall. Let's see. Yeah, pretty good all green. Yeah, pretty nice. All right, so let me take a screenshot of my profits. Obviously, I'm gonna wrap this up. I gotta head to Vegas right now, guys. Heading to Vegas. Got my flight in an hour. So let me just wrap this up. I got a race in Vegas this weekend, so I'm gonna be out there racing for High Rocks. Just take a screenshot of this stuff. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. It's gonna take a screenshot of my profits and then wrap this up for the day, for the week actually. I'm glad we closed the week like in more green than expected because obviously we had that kind of crappy move yesterday. Um, but it's all good, So I make mistakes sometimes, guys. It doesn't matter how long you've been trading. Mistakes are going to be made. So I made a mistake yesterday taking a FOMO trade, but it is what it is. Let's see what we got over here. Yeah, no, definitely. Thanks, Sam. Yeah, Sam said, yeah, green all over. Have fun, Sean. Thanks for today. Yeah, you locked in some pretty good profit too, Sam. Nice work on your end. Let me just take a screenshot of this here too, so that we can. I want to clean this up a little bit, of course. Oh, it's super messy. You guys can see, like, even though the market was like super choppy and like hard to like really analyze and follow, we were still able to lock in some pretty good profit here. It's really just understanding, like, knowing your role when you're trading. I feel like that's the biggest thing with a lot of people too. They try to do too much when like if you could just wait for your position to come to you, it'll come to you. It just takes time. So I'm gonna put this over here in our team profits, of course. That's right there. Trade for today. All right, I'll just put. Oh, I'm making it complicated. This is a momentum pullback scalp. B2 entry for a gain of 20 points. Got some slippage, but it's all good. So there's the entry right there. You guys can see my actual entry. I like taking the actual screenshots so that you guys can see the entry on the chart. Now let me post. Let me stop my Zoom share over here on my laptop. So I'm done on here. Post my profits. There's my screen. I like posting my screen here so that you guys can kind of see like what I'm looking at on here. I know some of you guys ask sometimes like, what does your screen look like? And there you go. I'm not going to add up my profits today. I think this is going to take too long for me to add up. But anyways, here's the trade I took, guys. I took one trade today. This was the NPSB2. There's a couple confluences here. I saw the sellers were in control. Saw an engulfing candle, another engulfing candle. That's where our entry came. And then another engulfing candle here indicating that a continuation was going to happen. So that's where I took my entry. And then here was my screen from today. All my profits, my time and sales, my chart. I keep it pretty simple, just straightforward. And then here are my profits. So here, let me see, I'll just download these here so that you guys can see things bigger. If you guys have profits to post up, feel free to send them in. If not, then it's okay. But here are my profits for today. So here is my main screen. This is basically what my laptop looks like. I know a lot of you guys ask me, like, how does my laptop look like when I'm executing the trades? This is what it looks like. I'm looking at time and sales right here to see when the buy orders come in, when the sell orders come in. You guys can see this is a real account. This is my live account. This is no prop firm. It's real money. So it's my real personal account right there. And then here are my profits, of course. 20 Apex accounts, 7 Tradeify accounts, 18 live funded accounts. I didn't mean to delete that. Live funded accounts, 1 Purdy account, and a couple other hedge accounts as well. So yeah, these are my accounts here. I execute all my trades on my main account. So you can see here, I don't execute on Apex. I execute mainly on my personal account. I only take 4 contracts, so it's nothing crazy. I'm still locking in pretty good profit, about 500 to 600 per trade on my personal. And then of course here, Apex and whatever. So those are my profits right there. These are my the separate accounts. So if I was to do basic, I'll kind of just guesstimate, I guess, what I locked in for the day. So I locked in, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So probably like 1,000 from right here. I'm just gonna guess. I'm gonna guess like maybe I locked in about like, let's say about like 10,000 for the day. So not bad. 10,000 for the day, probably like 20,000 for the week, because like double, of course, right here for the weekly P&L. And that's a pretty good week. I mean, we had only 1 loss this week. 1 loss for the breakout, 1 loss for the scalps. And overall, it's a pretty great week. So I think we have some profits over here from this. And I think we're good. Yeah, no, definitely. All right, I think all the questions are covered, guys. So if you guys have any more questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, we had a great week so far, or a great month so far. We're about to enter February. So starting February, I think we're going to be a little more in tune with the market. So I think it's going to be a lot more of an upside trend for our profits. But yeah, we'll see what happens. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I'll see you back here on Monday for market open. I'll be out of town, guys, so I probably won't be able to respond to messages until maybe sometime later this weekend. But if you guys do have questions, just shoot them, and I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can. So, all right, guys, have a great weekend, and I will see you guys.